I did more than spill it out for the average person who can ascertain the message in a basic presentation in part one. If you're sitting there like, huh? Or oversimplifying my argument, or taking me out of context, you shouldn't vote. You are a danger to yourself and others if you're that fucking stupid, immature, cowardly, and don't realize the seriousness of this issue. When you're playing stupid about what causes women to get raped, and 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 of them on record are raped, my goodness, you're a piece of shit. It's just like people in white denial, right? You're playing stupid about this institutional racism that leads to people living in the ghettos, doing drugs, substance abuse, and killing each other. You're a piece of shit. You shouldn't vote. If you can't acknowledge what we all know is true, and not some social normative lie, but what we all know is true, and you're going to sit there as a big group of people, it's not true, you shouldn't vote. You should be in prison. Playing stupid about things that cause rape and murder on a large scale for reasons that have nothing to do with restoring the divine order should be an offense punishable with a long, lengthy prison sentence. Basically, for those of you who are fucking stupid, who play stupid, let me spell it out for you fucking cowards. You left-right paradigm bitches, and you fucking info warriors who are disingenuous scum. All you alternate news sites that propagate despicable falsehoods to discredit yourself so that if someone like me actually makes an honest effort to tell the truth, you say that's just more internet garbage. The media is full of lies. The internet's full of lies. You're all dumb sheep. You may as well follow the experts and act like good bitches. That is what all of you are propounding, whether you admit it or not. So let's spell it out now. The chemicals in the food, including the sugars that are unreasonably put in things. Look how much sugar is in a can of soda. It's unreasonable. Okay? These things cause people to be unfocused. What causes women to get raped? Intoxication, right? That's why they're called toxic psych meds. You're giving people toxic medication that causes them to be unfocused. And you can say, well, we have these studies. We all know that people on psych meds, and I've taken them myself, cause people to have dulled senses, which is what changes their behavior. I'm a zombie. Just type in the word psych meds and zombie and see how many hits you get. We all know this is what they do. Stiffness of muscle, headaches, various problems that distract. When you have these problems, they distract you. Period. And the result of brain damage, the result of interfering with the brain's natural processes. It's a no-brainer. So the substances in society make people less focused and they hone their senses less. And we can also look at things and say, where are the fresh foods sold and where aren't they? The ghettos are surrounded by liquor stores, fast food, and different food chains that give you garbage. It's so in almost every city I've been to. You have to drive across town to the areas that don't want you there to buy these whole foods and so on, which cost more. Organic food and the food that is less toxic costs more. This is part of the problem in society and preying on the poor. It's a dog-eat-dog society, so the exploited, disenfranchised, marginalized class is preyed on. Women who come here illegally are coerced into sex by the coyote, by the farmer, by the police, etc., by anyone who catches wind of it. People rob immigrants. They rape them because they feel like they're not going to report these crimes, and there's a lot of truth to that. Period. We live in a society where people take advantage of vulnerable individuals. That's how they get rich. Scum, therefore, get rich. People who made money by coercing people and preying on people get money, and women are taught to be hypergamous and to date these people. Are you following me so far? If not, pause it and watch it over again. So, by default, they are dating people who are more likely to rape with impunity. Fraternity scum raping women. Common event. Football players, common event. Party goers, common event. The people you trust date rape you. Is it a guy who looks like an obvious criminal who's raping women? No, it's this handsome, pretty boy yuppie guy. Hey, let's go on a date. You mean on the internet, right? They have to lure you on the date first before they rape you. Who do you trust? The black thug in the ghetto? Or the white yuppie fraternity guy, with all racism aside? Generally speaking, regardless of race, I apologize if I hurt your feelings for telling the truth. You know, the yuppie person is the one the dumb bitch goes on the date with, the guy with money. So it's safe to say that most date rapes are yuppie scum. And that's part of why they don't report them. Because ironically, they have a certain respect for the rapist, or at least for his social status in society, which is going to cause them to be embarrassed. So they're going on a date with people who are more likely to feel they can get away with raping them, and are more likely, and that they're not likely to tell on them, and they're getting raped. Bad judgment. Bad judgment. The good guy finishes last. The guy with honor finishes last. And the more he has honor, the more likely he is to be a victim of psychological operations. Just like the Black Panther Party, just like Martin Luther King. Just look up COINTELPRO. It wasn't just the Panthers. It was tons of groups. The J. Edgar Hoover still has a building where the FBI meet. The fuck does that tell you? Just look up psychological operations. You know, the abundance of evidence of the existence of psychological operations. The fact that mental, I won't even entertain the moron who would pretend that gang stalking doesn't exist. You may as well argue the Klan never gang stalked anybody. They never harassed anybody. That cops never group harass anybody. And gang members and political groups never harass people as groups. It is stupid. It is retarded. It is nonsensical. And this is part of the reason people get drugged in psych wards for believing that gang stalking exists. My goodness, that is stupid. I know gang members that gang stalk people. That is stupid. That is dumb. How do you catch somebody slipping? You stalk them first, you creep up on them, and you shoot them in the fucking head. It is stupid to pretend that groups do not group harass people. It is stupid to pretend that they don't use the internet to do it. It is stupid. I won't entertain that madness. That is dumb. That is probably the dumbest thing one could say. That is like saying that the government is not corrupt. Show me the evidence. The government is doing nothing wrong right now, or they'd arrest them. It's insane. It is bat shit crazy. Okay. Now that we've established that it's batshit crazy to pretend that people aren't gang stalked, especially political dissidents with 4,000 videos on the internet, we've established that the dating process leads women to feel comfortable with the people who are more likely to rape with impunity. And this is the major problem in date rape, at least. Women aren't dating scrubs. And if a woman dates a scrub, she doesn't have a high opinion of herself anyway because of how society conditioned her. She probably doesn't give a fuck about having sex with them right away. You don't feel very highly of yourself, and you don't give a fuck about, who you date from your own gold digger perspective. It's not because their pureness of heart, they're dating the poor guy. It is the rich guy that is raping them. It is the college guy. Look at how many, it's like 1 in 4 women or something like that go to college get raped. Are these thugs in the ghetto? I mean, come on, man. How stupid are you people? It is the yuppie that rapes. When they talk about the different forms of rape, coercion. Who can coerce you? Some broke motherfucker? Your boss? An authority figure? Hey, man, people are fucking retarded if they don't see that I'm right. We live in a society that conditions dumb bitches, right? The media, Hollywood, movies, entertainers. They used to call them plays, right? Plays became movies. Plays, right? Play the game. You got played. You're a player. A baller, the bull that covers the lie. It's right there in the wordplay. Consensual. Con the census. They're making fun of you motherfuckers. And you women uphold the social norms that allows them to con the census. You also choose the guy. You choose to have sex with him. More often than not when you have a baby. Yes, it's usually consensual sex. Okay? Quote unquote, right? Which is really a form of rape And if you have to really listen to what I'm saying and stop being a socially normative yuppie or some fucking dumb, uneducated pussy, okay? So they choose the guy, they choose to have sex, they choose to have the baby, they choose to raise the baby. The guy just is the sperm, ever call, he's the sperm donor. He's a deadbeat dad. He's at work or he left. You're the one who raised the rapist. Why don't women say, I'd love to meet the bitch that raised this guy because he's a son of a bitch so I can slap her? Why don't they ever say that? It is all put on the rapist. The whole thing. If the motherfucker was under mind control, you would blame him and not the government because you're a dumb bitch. If the motherfucker had a gun to his head, you would blame him and not the guy who put a gun to his head because you're a dumb bitch. If I explain to you human nature to a T and the history of cult wars and the phallic symbols, the obelisks, the pole, the polis. If I explain to you the history of organized rape existed in every civilization. Greece, cult wars, rape. Egypt, cult wars, rape. Babylon, cult wars, rape. Persia, Assyria, cult wars, rape. Rome, cult wars, rape. The foundation of Western civilization is cult wars, rape, murder, extortion, etc. This is how the West was made. This is how the West was won. They didn't win it with logic and reason. They won it with brute force. Egypt is probably the only known civilization that was established with higher reason and sense as a result of the Nikeda period and the unscrupulous pagan rabble that had pathetic cult centers that were vying for power with Nekhen, whose whole cult theme was the higher grace of the hawk, the intensity of the sun, and the sun represents defeating the animal nature and focusing on the intense brilliance of the message and shedding light on the truths of God. Destroying the darkness so that man can see and go out and do what he's got to do without being harassed by those who live in the night. Now, ironic though, knight in shining armor, right? Knight in shining armor. And they raped and killed a bunch of bitches. And you'll find dumbasses in forums and so on that argue that they didn't rape. It's a myth that knights raped. If you think knights didn't rape bitch, oh boy. If you think it's not easier to rape a bitch when you're heavy, imagine you have a bunch of armor. You hold that bitch down and the bitch gets raped. What's she gonna do, run? You got a fucking horse. She's a peasant. Fuck's she gonna go? If you motherfuckers don't get that. I bet you think they didn't rape during the Crusades and Christianity was made by saints who couldn't possibly lie. The people who killed Jesus told the truth about everything. I mean, this is how stupid motherfuckers are. In their own fucking, their own Bibles, right? This is a predominantly Christian nation. Even liberal news media admits that. What does Matthew 19:23 through 24 say? What does James 1, is it James 5, 1 through 7 say? It condemns the rich. So we go 23, Matthew 19:23 through 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Truly I tell you, it is hard for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God." You know why he said it twice? Because he was a prophet. Okay, at least in the story. He knew there was going to be a bunch of dumb rednecks, house niggas, yuppie evangelical bitches, and assorted racist, selfish cowards. So he said, look, you motherfucking bitches. Again, I tell you, for the bitches, you have to tell twice. No, you're not supposed to be rich. No, you're not supposed to plant your seed with a hell-bound, rich, crony, capitalist, dog-eat-dog piece of shit. No, you're not supposed to plant your seed with Cerebus. He's Hades' pet. But what do these bitches do anyway? They have babies with rapist trash who weren't under mind control, mind you. They were doing the mind control. And then they bring in a piece of hell-spawn scum and they get together as a group and say, men are raping us. Let's be lesbians. And they act like bitches. And the right isn't like, ha, that's those leftists. Bitch, you're married to the rich scum. You're shunning motherfuckers too. What don't you get? Women are disproportionately responsible for rape.